no information sheets on that side.
There's nothing on that side. Coffee and water, because I was trying to separate the crowds.
You're so thoughtful.
You know. And then Arlie is mindfully watching the mystery dishes so no one peeks. No one peeks, no peeking.
I am awfully hungry, so it might be my breakfast right now.
I think it'll be plate number 2 for me.
Well, I'm not smelling
Sardines, so
More
I think it's
chimichurri.
okay.
Duck eggs is what I'm really into right now.
Oh, that sounds good too right now. We don't today, but
I'm thinking the sardines would be have an aroma.
I was going to make sardine chips.
Chips.
Yes. But maybe next time. Morning, sir.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about body composition. And that there's a numbers beyond the scale.
It's not how much you weigh.
It's what your body's made of. Well, that will determine what you're made of. Sign in here, information packets there. I'm here. I should spit my gum out, probably.
I'm starting to get overcome with the urge to come up and visit. Whether I do anything up there, I might just talk to where's her written proof that Karen has approved her remarks.
Karen? Ah. Hello. Teenagers.
Still want more food?
Well, it's 10 o'clock and he's still at home.
Did he finally get something to eat yesterday?
Yes, he did. Good morning. Thank you guys for all being here and supporting the ARC Wellness Series, which I have come to grow quite fond of. If you don't know what that is, that's one of these presentations that you're sitting through today, the ARC Wellness Series. I'll get the formalities out of the way first and read you this disclaimer. Not that you can't read yourself, but The information provided in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and it's not substitution for professional medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. All recommendations discussed, including exercise, nutrition, and supplementation, should be reviewed by your physician and qualified healthcare provider, especially if you have a medical condition, are taking medications, or are under the care of a health professional. Always consult your medical professional before making any changes to your routine. Now that we got the formalities out of the way, all the lawyers will be happy. We got to keep them happy. Beyond the scale, so I'm going to start with something that we can all relate to. Every single one of us has a relationship with the scale. Yes? Yeah, some good, some not so good. We step on it, we look at the number, and we cry. Or not, just kind of kidding. But we look at the number and we decide based on that number whether we're doing well or not. Looking at that number can affect how your day goes sometimes. There's fluctuations in that number that in your brain you can't explain. So what if I told you that that number is one of the least helpful ways to measure your health? That make you feel better, a little sense of relief? That number does not tell you how strong you are, how stable you are, or how well your body is functioning. So as we age, those are the things that matter, not the number on the scale. So today I want to broaden your focus. We're going to move beyond the scale and start talking about what that number is comprised of. Your muscles, your bones, your fluid, and last but not least, the three-lettered F word, fat. And how those directly impact your strength, balance, your energy, and ultimately your independence. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to live longer, right? We want to live stronger. We want to be active. We want to maintain independence. So the exciting part about this is that this is something you can improve at any age. I had someone just this morning, well, at my age, if you're still walking and talking and eating and drinking, you can improve your body composition. You can improve your functionality. And granted, on a big scale, those things are relative, right? From starting where you are to moving somewhere else. But you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. Nothing is stagnant in nature. So if you think you're not, you are. You're moving in one direction or the other. It's intentional moving forward or unintentionally moving backwards. So I will leave you with today at the end some simple and practical ways to take control of your health, build strength, and change your body composition for the better. When we step on a scale, we see one number, but I want to clear something up really important. Weight, mass, and body composition are very different pieces of information. We often get used to or misunderstood these terms, right? We step on the scale, you see a number. Hopefully I'll give you some clarity today as to the differences between these three things. First, we'll look at weight. Weight is simply the force of gravity acting on your body. In other words, how heavy you are when you step on the scale. From a physics standpoint, weight can be described as mass times gravity. So the number on the scale is influenced by all of your body tissues, water, food in your system, even the time of day. However, it's a very general measurement. It doesn't tell us anything about what is that weight made of. That's why the scale can be misleading. You can lose weight and lose muscle and have a worse health outcome. You can gain weight but gain muscle instead of fat. That's a good health outcome. And the scale won't tell you the difference. So that's why we're going to delve into this today. We're focusing on improving and what the weight is made of, not focused on just reducing weight. Mass. What makes up mass? So you have lean mass and you have fat mass. Lean mass is all of your organs, your muscle, your bone, and water. Your fat mass is, well, it's fat. Some fat is essential. You can't live with zero body fat. Some fat is not essential, and we'll get into that. Another component that we'll probably only mention here is bone mass. because body composition scales like the Tanita that we are going to have the opportunity to use, or maybe you have used, it's not as accurate as a DEXA scan. It doesn't tell you bone density in a scientific fashion, but it takes into account and puts that number on there in a poundage. But bone mass, it represents the mineral content of your bones. It does not change quickly like hydration, but it is important for overall strength and stability, especially as we age. So the rest of the presentation won't get caught up in that a lot, but just so you know, that number, when you see it on the body composition, is the mineralization of your bones, right? But not scientifically accurate enough to be a bone density test. Does that make sense? Okay. From a scientific standpoint, this matters because different components of mass behave very differently in the body. That's where body composition comes in, because body composition actually breaks down your mass into meaningful parts, like how much is muscle versus how much is fat. Here's a representation. So we have two people, the same height and the same weight. They both weigh 165 pounds. Their body composition is markedly different. The person on the left has more muscle and less body fat. Because of that, she will have a higher metabolism, more strength, and better overall function. The person on the right has more fat and less muscle. Even though the scale shows the exact same number, her body is functioning very differently. She will be at higher risk for things like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other metabolic conditions. And this is exactly why we're having this conversation today. The scale does not tell us what's going on inside the body. It gives us one number, but doesn't tell us what that number is made of. Because when we look at the balance between muscle and fat, we get a much clearer picture of what's going on metabolically. That brings us to body composition. Body composition is the analysis that gives us that deeper look into what's going on. It can show muscle mass, fat levels, hydration, and even potential risks that you wouldn't see just by standing on a regular scale, looking at your weight. Body composition goes beyond the scale. It breaks those numbers down into meaningful parts to help you understand what your body's made of. Some additional markers other than muscle mass, body fat, and hydration are going to be visceral fat and metabolic age. These are two numbers that you'll see if you decide to take the Tanita today or if you've taken it at another time. So the metabolic age, based on your composition, it will give you a number. So you have a chronological age, which you input into the system, and from your makeup, it will give you a metabolic age. You hope that your metabolic age is younger than your chronological age, and we'll get back to that. So it looks deeper and gives us insight into how the body's functioning. The visceral fat is the other thing. So how much fat you have is important, but also where that fat is stored in the body makes a big difference. You've probably heard the term before, visceral fat. Anyone? Just sounds visceral, doesn't it? It's the fat around the middle. So you may see someone with skinny limbs, skinny arms, skinny neck. They've got a big old belly. That's visceral fat. It is choking out your organs in the middle of your body, and it behaves very differently, which we'll get into that a little bit more on another slide. We're going to look at the role of muscle movement and metabolic health. So we'll take it a step further. Most of us know that muscle works mechanically. It pulls on bones that creates movement. But there's something that your muscles do that a lot of people don't know. Aside from just the fibers contracting and relaxing, sending the signal to your nervous system and creating movement, your muscles are also working behind the scenes for stability, joint support, protection against falls. And the part that people don't realize, this one primary thing that the muscle does, it's a place in your body that stores glucose. After you eat, your blood sugar rises. In response, your body releases insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells. Muscle tissue plays a major role in this function. So it just stands to reason. More muscle, better glucose functioning. Less muscle, less glucose functioning. It acts like a sponge for glucose, pulling sugar out of the bloodstream and either using it immediately for energy or storing it later for use. The storage for later is? Yes. Hello, fat. Yes, exactly. I think I had mentioned in a previous presentation that one of the best things you can do to help manage your blood sugar is walking after a meal. 15 minutes of walking after a meal, and there is immense research. Wolf 2006 is one in particular. They had a large study. That is leaps and bounds ROI, something simple that you can implement every time you eat. Go walk for 15 minutes. When you don't do that and you go and sit right on the couch after you eat, it's not going to be used immediately. It's going to be stored for later as? Thank you. Okay. So the more muscle you have, the more capacity your body has to take in glucose, use it efficiently, and keep blood sugar stable. These are good things. This is why muscle is considered metabolically active tissue. When muscle mass is low, especially with aging, we experience this muscle loss over time regardless. It's called sarcopenia. But you can combat that. We know that, right? Activity, environment, nutrition. But as you lose muscle mass, your body becomes less efficient at managing glucose. This can lead to things like type 2 diabetes, reduced insulin sensitivity, and heart disease. In other words, with less muscle, there are fewer places for glucose to go. So putting that all together, the same muscle that helps you move also helps regulate your internal health. So it's not just a for show muscle or, oh, I don't need abs anymore. That muscle is extremely important to how your body functions. When you build or maintain muscle, you're not just improving your strength, you're improving your blood control, your blood sugar control, improving metabolism, and reducing your risk at long-term diseases, chronic diseases. On to the body fat. We want to come up with some nice things to say about body fat. There are essential functions of body fat, and as I mentioned, you can't be alive with 0% body fat. The brain is a large percent body fat. It's also used to protect organs, supports hormones, and needed for overall body function. But for a long time, fat was just viewed as storage, stored energy, right? Supporting the body and holding on to extra calories for later use. And while that's partially true, modern science has shown that fat tissue is much more complex and active than we once thought. In fact, fat tissue functions as a hormonally active organ. Some fat is essential. However, your fat cells are not just sitting there. They're constantly communicating with the rest of your body. Fat tissue releases substances called signaling molecules. Anyone ever heard that? No? They're often referred to as adipokines. These play a role in appetite regulation, energy balance, immune function, metabolism, and overall health. Fat becomes a problem when it accumulates in excess, especially around the abdomen. Visceral fat. You'll see this number in your Tanita outprint if you decide to do one. Unlike fat stored under the skin, which is called subcutaneous fat, right, under the skin, visceral fat surrounds the organs and behaves very differently. This type of fat becomes biologically active and in a harmful way. It begins to release higher levels of inflammatory signals, such as, and you probably haven't heard of these, but that's okay, we can look them up later, TNF-alpha, which is tumor necrosis alpha factor. Interleukin-6, IL-6. These substances signal the body's immune system, essentially telling it that something is wrong. These are your inflammatory markers. If you ever have a blood test and they're looking for inflammation, they're looking for increased levels of these two components, TNF-alpha and IL-6. Over time, this creates a state known as low-grade inflammation. I don't know if you remember in a previous presentation, there was a term, it was called inflammaging. Right? Inflammation as you age, inflammaging. Well, this is one of the primary drivers of inflammaging. Unlike acute inflammation, you cut your finger and it heals, this type of inflammation is subtle ongoing, systemic, meaning entire body, and because it's happening in the background, people rarely realize it's even happening. But it has significant long-term health effects. DePriest, 2012. We'll look for a minute at water. This is another piece of body composition that often gets overlooked, but it plays an extremely important role. If you've ever been dehydrated, you can attest to that. A large portion of the body is water. Depending on gender and size, 50 to 70% is made up of water. And that water isn't just sitting there, it's involved in almost every chemical reaction that your body produces. Water helps with circulation, moving nutrients and oxygen throughout the body. Temperature regulation, keeping your body from overheating. Joint lubrication, helping you move comfortably. That's something we all want to do, yeah? Muscle function, supporting strength and performance. When you're well hydrated, your body functions better. Calf cramp in the middle of the night, probably a sign of dehydration. Again, not a doctor, but that's the first thing that I would look at. Here's where it gets interesting. Changes in hydration can affect your weight day to day. If you're someone that has the daily relationship with your scale, good or bad, and you see those fluctuations, up 2, down 3, what in the world's going on? You don't lose body fat or gain body fat that quickly. It's usually a water fluctuation. However, if you eat a very large carbohydrate meal, your body holds more water because it takes water to break that carbohydrate down. So you eat a big huge plate of pasta and bread, you get on the scale the next day, you're like, whoa! It's a water gain. It's a water retention because of the amount of carbohydrate. Now, if you continue to eat carbohydrates like that every day, that number will eventually be a gain in muscle fat, just to make it clear. A common practice in some sports, wrestling and bodybuilding are two that I can think of right off the top of my head. They utilize this to make weight. And it's not a very safe practice, but you may not know unless you've been in this realm how much actual weight they can lose. 5 to 10 pounds in 1 to 2 days. Extreme cases for a large person, it can be up to 15 pounds of water. So not healthy practices, but these are things that go on. They do that for the reason of making weight. They want to weigh in at a lower weight division. They gain that weight back, and now they're at an advantage because they're the heaviest person in the lightest weight class. Because it's only temporary. As soon as you rehydrate, the weight is back. So anyway, not a safe practice. If you know a wrestler, you've got grandkids that are wrestlers, keep an eye on them. That's a dangerous practice. Muscle and water. Muscle tissue actually holds a tremendous amount of water itself, more than fat. And this is another reason why body composition gives us more insight than just the scale alone. Even small changes in hydration can affect how you feel and what you see on the scale. Understanding your numbers. So now that we've talked about all the tissues that make up your mass, the next step is understanding what your numbers mean. Because when you step on something like the Tanita scale, which is here with me today, you're going to see more than just weight. There are columns. You may not can read them, so I made them larger. Over here, and those are all these things here. Weight, body fat percentage, fat mass, fat-free mass, muscle mass, total body water. Total body water is a percentage, and you can see those. So it can look very overwhelming, is why I put this slide up. But the goal is not to get caught up in every single number. It's to understand what those numbers are telling you about your body. The most important part is don't look at one number in isolation. Your body is dynamic, and these numbers work together. So instead of asking, is this number good or bad, ask, what direction am I moving in? If you have a Tanita printout already, that's great information. Please hold on to those. I would encourage you to make a copy of it because it's receipt paper and the ink fades over time, but that gives you what we call a baseline. So it's important information when we first get it, but it becomes even more important when we can compare it against future readings. So the numbers are not meant to be a judgment. They're information, and they give you a roadmap about how to improve your health. The best way to utilize the Tanita is to create that baseline. If you don't have a reading, get a reading. Hold on to that. Understand your baseline. Set realistic goals, and if for no other reason than to keep an eye on your muscle mass. I think an important motivator for people, if they can see the data, then they're motivated into action. Like in your mind, you might know, yeah, I know I'm getting weaker, I'm losing mass, but if you can see that in a number, like, wow, I did this 6 months ago and I've lost 5 pounds of muscle, that can be impactful. So if for no other reason, have the data. Get it done at least twice a year. Compare the numbers. See what is happening physiologically with your body so that you can then intervene on your own behalf. Eating more protein, moving more, these types of things. Other ways to improve body composition: strength training, protein intake, daily movement, sleep and recovery, believe it or not. It doesn't have to be extreme and you don't need a complete overhaul, but you do have to put in some work. It'll take effort and intentionality. It really comes down to forming good habits. Strength is probably one of the most important. I'd put it on the same plane with nutrition because you can't have one without the other. You try to build muscle, but you don't have the components inside to build the muscle, it's not going to happen. You eat the protein, but you don't do the exercise, good at maintaining muscle, but certainly not going to gain any. So we need those two things in unison. Daily movement. Muscle doesn't just come from exercise, it needs the right building blocks. You don't have to live in the gym. Moving more consistently makes a big difference. We've talked about this before. Walking, staying active, reducing long periods of sitting. I think I mentioned in the last presentation the research study. It was 2 different people. One of them exercised specifically for 1 hour a day and then sat the rest of the time. The other gentleman got up every hour and did something, some sort of movement every hour that he was awake. The person that moved more frequently throughout the day fared better than the person that went for 1 hour of exercise and then sat the rest of the time. So that should be very encouraging. Just move more. A lot of us have smart watches. Set a reminder. Get up and move. Get up and move. You've been sitting too long. Get up and move. Don't chase the scale. This is a big one. If you only focus on losing weight, you'll actually lose muscle in that process because you're not tied into your nutrition. And that's definitely not what we want. So we'll walk through this together. I've got a sample strength workout. Again, doesn't have to be overwhelming. I'm going to put a plug in for a new class that I've started. It's on Mondays and Thursdays at 2 o'clock in the gym. Sorry, gentlemen, it's only for the ladies. It's called Ladies Lift Lab, and the reason that I targeted ladies is they are at higher risk for osteopenia and osteoporosis. So I want to encourage women to come into the gym. I will teach you how to use the equipment. I will help you set up programs. I will oversight. I will be there during that hour once you learn and you have a program, just to observe, just to watch, just to be there for help. So I'll go back up from that. But it can be very simple. With our strength training, we want 2 to 3 days a week. Simple things. We could do an exercise right here. You guys want to exercise? We can do it. We can do it without equipment. A simple sit to stand. In your chair, without using the arms, stand up. Yeah, everybody. Okay, sit back down, stand back up. Sit back down, stand back up. All right, you can sit down now. This is fun. We should really have balance class in here, but I'll get to that later too. I digress. Sit to stand. Everyone owns a chair at home. I know that you do. The goal is, if you have to use your arms, try to reduce the amount of assistance that you provide yourself. We have to place a greater stress on the musculature than what it is accustomed to have it grow. When you strength train, 2 things happen. You break down the muscle and you break down the bone. Sounds kind of crazy, right? But that's the destructive part. You have to tear it down to build it back up. If you are not placing any stress on your body says, I don't need that bone and I don't need that muscle, and it will atrophy. Your bone will no longer begin to calcify. So whether it's jumping on a trampoline, rebounding, I've talked about how that's good for bone density. That's the reason. That impact creates small little micro fractures in the bone. You go home, you sleep, you eat, you recover. You now have more bone density than you had before. So it's an ongoing process of homeostasis inside the body. It's the old adage, if you don't use it, you lose it. Wall push-ups, finding a counter, one that's not going to move, or a wall. You can do a push-up at an angle, reducing the amount of weight that you're actually moving. Bands, if you do not have a strength band, I meant to bring one, I forgot. Come up to the gym, I'll give you one. From home, you can pull, you can press, you can strengthen. You don't need a lot of equipment, and you don't even have to come to the gym. You just need to be intentional. Seated overhead press, 2 water bottles. You know, definitely not 2 Coke bottles, because you wouldn't have those. Right? Something weighted. Right? Overhead press. Heel raises. We talked about this, about how the calf is the second heart muscle, right? Your venous blood gets down there and it can't get back up. Pumping those calf muscles is the best way to facilitate that. It's also a way to move lymph fluid through the system and help to detoxify the body. So all these things right here you can do in the comfort of your own home, and you could probably do in less than 20 minutes. It's just about making the decision to do it. The goal for daily movement, support your metabolism, circulation, and energy. Options at the Ark. We got hallways. You don't want to go outside? Go up the elevator, go to a floor, walk the floor. Go up the elevator again, walk the next floor, all the way up to the top, and then you can take the elevator all the way down. So there are so many options. If you like outside, we got courtyards and pretty lakes and swans to see. Take a group fitness class. 2 to 3 short walks, 10 minutes each instead of an overwhelming 20-minute walk. It equals out the same. And I know sometimes myself, I've gotten caught in this trap before. Maybe you have. It's an all or nothing mentality. If I can't do it all, my time doesn't allow, or I'm physically able, I can't do it all, well, I just won't do anything. And that is a terrible place to be. Consistency beats intensity. If I can drive that message home. Consistency beats intensity. Balance. If anybody saw the commercial, the Army residence commercial, we were on WOAI and Good Day SA. They came up to the gym. I demonstrated on the S3. Is Sam in here? No, Sam was my model. But we demonstrated on the S3 balance a level of practicing balance. Someone that's talented, or I don't want to say talented, that's not right. Someone that has better balance can do these things freestanding. Someone else could do them holding a chair. Someone else might need more structural support. We have those levels. Balance class is a great place to plug in because we do all these single-legged stands, marching in place, weight shifts side to side. If you haven't come to balance class because you're afraid you can't balance holding onto a chair, I have something for you that will help you feel accommodated and safe. So there's just really no excuse. I'm going to remove all the excuses today.
You have enough chairs.
We will move this into the auditorium one way or the other. We will make, if there's a will, we'll make the way. Yes. Well, we're going to save questions until the end. I'll get so sidetracked. My brain is like spaghetti. Protein at each meal. So we've tried to do some things with the menu, which we'll get to that in a minute. There will be a vote at the end, so don't walk out the last minute. For the longevity plate, we're bringing to the Bluebonnet menu. Is anybody familiar? Just a quick hand raise. Yes. Last month, or this month's stills item will be repeated next month because they need a little time to gear up and get everything in order. However, I have 3 choices. They're plated over here. You get to look at them. And then there's vote cards. You'll circle the one you would like to see on the June menu. So these are small steps that we're moving towards trying to make healthier choices more available and more predominant. Protein at each meal. Protein is what your body uses to repair and build muscle. As I mentioned, you can exercise and be at a protein deficit. Your body will strip it right out of the muscle that you already have. So making sure that you're eating enough protein to maintain your muscle mass is extremely important. As we get older, our bodies become less efficient at using protein, and that means we need to actually be more intentional about getting enough. When we lose muscle, again, strength decreases, risk of falls increases, and that will directly affect your independence. And it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. Breakfast might look like eggs or yogurt, chicken, fish, beans at lunch. Just make sure every meal focus on protein first. And if you want somebody that struggles with appetite, eat the protein first. My husband, and he'll kill me if you know I told you this, if there's a plate of food and there's a carbohydrate on it, he will eat that first. He will eat a loaf of bread if it's made available to him, and his protein and vegetables will still be on the plate, and he will say these words, "I'm full." So, protein first. And you will find with the protein you will feel full. And that's okay because you've taken in the most important thing. Hydration. When do we hydrate? All day long. I heard somebody tell me, well, if I drink water, I pee more. Of course. That is your kidneys functioning. That is a good thing. I understand it's problematic to get up in the middle of the night and disrupt your sleep. However, that is not a good enough reason not to drink. The water is extremely important. If you are already dehydrated, meaning you don't have the electrolytes, the water does not get into your cells, henceforth you urinate more. So if you drink water and you're immediately going to the restroom, you might want to have somebody look at your electrolyte balance. These are potassium, magnesium, sodium. I know salt's a delicate subject, but when I say salt, I'm not talking about table salt. I'm not talking about iodized strip table salt. I'm talking about Celtic sea salt that has 98 minerals in it. So just be inquisitive about that and find out what your numbers are. If you have those things happening to you, get your doctor to check. Focus on your hydration. Aim for regular sips. I've seen people with bottles that say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. It seems kind of silly, but if that's what you need to reinforce the behavior, then do it. Not plastic. Can't be in plastic. It's got to be, I'm just kidding. Add fruit or lemon to water, and I'm not really. Fruit and lemon, plain water can be hard to drink for some people. Squeeze some lemon into it. We've got some nice cucumber-infused water over here. It really makes a difference. The cue is going to be hydration can change how you feel, and even what shows on the scale. Small sips, consistency throughout the day. Don't wait till you get the cramp in your leg or you have a heart issue going on and you're faint because you're dehydrated. Caffeine consumption can accelerate dehydration as well. So I'm not pointing fingers. I get up in the morning, the first thing I drink is coffee. The second thing I drink is water. But I know that I need to compensate with the water because the caffeine has a dehydrating effect. Aw, a puppy and a baby. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about recovery, nightly habits. When you sleep, your body is not just shut off, it's actually very active. This is when your brain drains all the glymph, right, from the brain and all the lymph from the system. So basically, there are little trash cans going around collecting waste all night long and getting rid of it. When you do not sleep deeply, you do not sleep well, all this stuff comes to a halt. We get brain fog, fatigue, muscle pain, aches, all these things. So creating a nightly routine, a consistent bedtime routine, right? Again, it's about creating a routine. No screens 1 hour before bed. If you're someone that lays in bed and you go to sleep with your cell phone, tisk tisk, that blue light, your brain doesn't know the difference. It thinks it's still daylight. And on top of, it puts a lot of thoughts into your head that then you're processing when you're trying to go to sleep. It's not helpful. Bright lighting. Try to have dim lighting. If you do have to get up at night, don't flick every overhead light on. Be safe. Make sure you can see where you're going. But when you turn all the lights on, now your brain says, oh, wake up. It's time to wake up. So creating a consistent bedtime routine. Relaxing. Maybe it's a cup of tea. Maybe it's reading a book. Those types of things help your body get into that position to rest well. Deep breathing. If you're a meditator, that's a great time to meditate and focus on breathing. You'll go, wow, I was thinking about my breathing and I fell asleep. Perfect. That's perfect. Sleep also affects how you manage your body fat. When sleep is low, hunger hormones increase, cravings go up, and your body is more likely to store body fat if you're not a good sleeper. So again, it all connects back to body composition. Simple action steps. Light weightlifting, 2 to 4 times a week. 4 is a little bit ambitious, but you can get there. Protein at every meal. Daily walks. Stay consistent. Create a goal. Stay consistent. Start with 1. Just start with 1. Be consistent. The goal is to signal your body, hey, I need this muscle. Hey, I need this bone. I'm going to be moving. I need this. So gear up. Be ready for me. It doesn't have to be complicated, no matter your age. No matter where you start. There is always something that you can do to improve your health. It's the only body you're going to have to live in for the rest of your life. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. Every time you choose to move, every time you take care of your body, you're investing in your future, your strength, and your independence, and your quality of life. Your body is not just something you live in, it's something you must take care of. Honor it, and it will honor you. I put my references here. I can make these slides available to anyone who wants them if they want to do a little deeper dive into the research. I think I'll do questions, and then we'll do the vote and the view. Does that sound okay? Sure. All right, so I need my runner. A lot of that information that I covered with you guys is going to be in your packets here. Once we do the vote and everybody starts to clear out, I will remain here if anyone wants to do body composition today. If you don't want to do it today, that's fine. Take one of my business cards, email me, come up to my desk, and I will make time for you to get a body composition. We'll give you that baseline, right, to start out with. If you do it again and you already have one, bring that so I can interpret that data for you and tell you a little bit more about what's going on. So all that's in here. I need my microphone runner, Karen. Oh, Karen. Be careful if you go past the thing, it starts to squeal, remember?
Past what?
You'll know when it starts to squeal. We have one right here in the front. Sorry, Kathy, you were...
Costco has a powder they sell that's called organic protein. Is that, would that be good to have in the morning?
So with any protein powdered supplementation, which I assume that's what this is you're talking about, they range on a spectrum. There can be some that are very clean and very good and some that are just a bunch of garbage. It depends on the ingredients. I would encourage you to look at the ingredient list. If you can't understand it, send it to me. I'll be glad to look at it for you. Okay. But we want minimal ingredients. We do want the protein, yes. Do we want sucralose? No. Do we want fillers and all this other stuff? No, because it would just be better to get it from a food source.
Okay.
So,
okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
How effective is Tai Chi?
Ooh, is IT in here know why the microphone's squealing?
Can you say it again?
You're radioactive.
Tai Chi, how effective is it?
Okay, so Tai Chi, Karen, just kill that microphone. Just kill it. Kill it. Turn it off. Kill it. Okay. We'll just survive without it. We'll just talk loud. Mine's still working, so. Tai Chi, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. You asked me how effective is it, how effective, you have to fill in the blank, at what? Right? Tai Chi, my understanding of it, I don't practice it. It's a meditative movement. So if you're up and you're moving, you're meditating and you're breathing, you're drawing your awareness into your body and how your body is moving, I would say that's a great thing to do. Will it build muscle? Will it reduce visceral fat? Not very effectively. Yeah. Good for balance, good for mental stat, and good for coordination. But it's not really designed for belly fat or muscle gain. Yeah. So you need a different modality for that. Who's up next? In the back?
If you have implants,
You stand up, you have to talk loud.
if you have implants, left and right knee replacements, how does that affect your body mass?
When you say implants, you had me for a minute. I was like, well, that's really personal.
Arts.
Implanted joints. Yes. It does not add to the muscle and it does not add to the fat. So it comes up in some other measurement because the way this scale works is it sends a bioimpedance through the body. Different tissues return that signal at a different rate, and that's how it categorizes. But it does not skew the body fat or the muscle mass, which are, in my opinion, the two most important factors.
But it would add weight?
Well, you had something taken out to put something in. So what my doctor says is it's even. I took out this much bone, I put in this much metal, it's a zero sum. But if you're weighing and your baseline is with the joint replacements, then every weighing thereafter is, you still have your numbers. Yeah. Mr. Tressa?
Oh, thank you for the presentation to hand out the information on the importance of protein. But we can't go a presentation without hearing about the benefits of sardines.
I actually was going to have DC make sardine cookies. Because everybody kept asking, where's the cookies? Would you eat sardine cookies? Sure. Maybe a couple? All right. Yes, sardines are a great source of protein, vitamin D, K2. D and K2 are the things that are in your blood that tell your blood, take the calcium out of the blood and put it into the bones. You know what that helps prevent? Arteriosclerosis. And it helps with bone density. Yes, thank you. Sardines, I almost forgot that.
Oh, no, you didn't.
It was on my mind. Anyone, questions?
Carrie, is it true?
Can you stand for me, please?
Is it true? Oh, wait. I touched the thing. I didn't.
Oh!
Is it true that fat cells never go away? They shrink, but they stay around for an opportunity to get fat again?
Yes, so I will tell you this. Brain cells die, nerve cells die, every cell except a fat cell. They will survive a holocaust, a nuclear explosion. Once you accumulate more fat cells, or I don't know, I guess you accumulate them, maybe you have all that you're ever going to have. I'm not sure on that, but I do know this. It can get infinitely large. One fat cell, it has no level as to how big it can expand. So you gain weight, you're overweight, this is the size of your fat cell. It thinks this is homeostasis. You lose weight, that cell wall is still there, it's just like an empty little sponge. It's down here waiting. And you will have to work exponentially harder for it not to go back to homeostasis where it wants to go. So the best way to ever not be overweight is to not be overweight. You can remove fat cells with liposuction, but other than that, they live forever. Just in what state will they be in? Lean people that have never been overweight don't have that struggle. That's an added struggle for people that have been overweight, so you just have to be conscientious of that.
Treatments that advertise getting rid of fat cells, are they safe?
She asked about treatments that advertise fat removal. I'm assuming you meant liposuction?
Like you just mentioned?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And nor are they effective because this is what happens. If you get liposuction, they take fat from your abdomen. These neighboring fat cells over here, because you didn't change your, and I don't mean you when I say that, the person didn't change their behavior. They didn't do any modifications. They just went and got the quick fix. They're back to doing their burgers and whatever they were doing and sitting around on a computer. Those neighboring fat cells will get infinitely large. They will move into the space, and or you'll have a very odd shape when you start to gain weight again. Because it won't be there. All the fat that would have been there will go somewhere else, or somewhere else, or somewhere else. Yeah. Sir, in the back.
Yeah, fat cells will die, but it takes a year or two for them to die off. What they'll do is that as you overeat, they will swell and swell until they can't swell anymore. Then they'll split into two cells.
There you go. They multiply.
And if you keep eating, guess what those two cells do?
Now you have 4.
4 cells.
I knew there was a way that you increased, but I couldn't quite put, remind me of your background, sir. I know you're a medical,
PhD in anatomy
a PhD in anatomy is always nice to have on board.
for decades.
Robach.
Right.
He's a new resident here if you guys all want to say hi to Mr. Robach. He's already been to the gym, him and his wife, and they already have a fitness plan in place. So great example, great source of knowledge. So if you don't know him, get to know him.
Okay, but they will die off. You just gotta stay at it for like 2 years.
So you're saying by staying lean long enough, fat cells start to die
They start to die off.
because they don't have anything inside of them to,
They're lonely.
they give up, they're lonely. Make your fat cells lonely. That's the moral of the story. Anyone else? Right here.
What about
Stand up for me, please.
these
it to the water? What's your opinion of those?
I think electrolytes can be extremely beneficial. Again, I'll caution you to look at your ingredients.
Right.
You do not want sucralose. You do not want any kind of artificial sweetener or sugar for that matter. So it's kind of hard to find. They do exist. I want to say Hammer Strength makes one for cyclists. They're little tablets. You just drop it in the water. It's calcium, magnesium, potassium, and whatever. It's just electrolytes. So if you can find one that's like that, absolutely. So just check your ingredients. Very useful. I can tell you what I use at home is I just take that Celtic sea salt with the 80, 90 minerals, crush a little bit up in my water in the morning, and I drink that. But because it's from nature. It's electrolytes right from nature. Yes, Miss Bird.
I use Himalayan sea salt at home. You're talking Celtic. I've never heard
Yeah.
that. So can you speak about the difference?
I can, and you have to remember that I'm very neurotic, right? So we can say, eat more meat, but I'm like, well, was it grass-fed? Does the cow have a good life? Like, right? So Himalayan sea salt still has that structure. Where some of it comes from, which is China and other places, you get contamination. You can get contamination, lead contamination. So just check your product where it comes from.
Spice Lab. That's where I buy it from.
So, yeah.
All right, okay.
And I would say that probably that thing that I mentioned is, again, it's a little bit extreme, but putting the calcium and magnesium and stuff in your body is way more important than focusing on the other thing. So, yeah. But yes, it has the same structure as the Celtic sea salt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? No? You guys want to see that food, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to walk over here and take a look. So this is the gold box. This is where you'll put your vote. I'll lay these out here. All 3 menu items are on these little squares. I guess I could have passed them out. I don't know. There's probably a better way. But we have the other thing I was going to add too, when you fill this out, if you want to write on the back of it a topic, something that you might want to see in a wellness presentation, that would be beneficial to me. You don't have to do that. That's optional. Option 1, for your longevity plate voting, we have herb crusted, not bread, herb crusted, salmon. It has farro, which is an ancient grain, roasted vegetables, carrots, zucchini, red onion, lemon, and olive oil. Ooh, that smells good. I might have that for lunch. I will leave that right there. Number 2. Actually, that's number 3. Hang on. Number 2, Tuscan white bean and chicken stew. It's going to have shredded chicken. Don't turn the bowl, it'll come out. Cannelli beans, spinach, tomatoes, carrots, and celery.
Can you go for more than one?
Next month. I would like to see all 3 of these on the menu, in all honesty. But baby steps, right? Number 3, this would be my favorite right here. It's not sardines. That would have been funny though, right? Sardines. This is a grilled sirloin with chimichurri sauce, mashed sweet potatoes. They do not have sugar added to them. It is mashed sweet potatoes. This is good old stuff. With asparagus. It's got parsley, olive oil, and garlic. So those 3 are there. I don't know an orderly way to get everybody up here. I'm going to, just by a show of hands, is there anybody that wants to do body composition today? Okay. So if the people that raise their hands want to move towards that side of the room in a fashionable way, I will come over there. Everyone else can get up at your leisure and vote as you make your way out. But thank you guys so much for being here today. I'll be speaking at the ICAA conference out in Florida this year. I submitted my packet. They chose me, so this has helped me dramatically. So, thank you guys. Thank you. That's what I said, but baby steps. All 3. All 3.